What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Ocular Maximus Pro Combiner, or their version of a masterpiece-ish scale Defensor. So we just took a look at this guy here, Ventus, their version of blades, and now we're going to put this into combine mode. And I do have them here in vehicle mode, at least the limbs. I don't have this guy only because it's actually easier to go from robot to combine mode, and it just takes a very long time, and I didn't want this review to be, an hour long. So I did get this guy transformed already, the hotspot. If you're interested, you can take a look at Pig for Life's official manual for Ocular Max Ignis, and he shows you how to transform it in all three modes. So I will put a link to that right here actually. But we're going to do all of these guys on camera. Specifically, I want to cover this one just because it's the newest one. But we'll do all of them. And there is something that's a little bit different on this guy compared to the pre-production sample that Pig looked at a while back. So I will point out the difference, or at least the difference in the transformation. So we're going to get started. We'll start with the legs, these two, which make up the legs. Then we'll move on to the arms, and we'll combine them together with Ignis here. Alright, so starting off with Navigant, or their version of Streetwise. We'll turn him into leg mode. And quite complex, more than you would think. So go ahead and open up the doors. Pull them out on those little pieces. You can pull up on the roof, so you can detach this front section from here. And we'll lift up on the front glass, and there's actually, the gun is stored in there. You can leave it in there. It will rattle around a little bit, so just know that later if you're watching this that you'll hear that sound. But we're going to separate the legs a little bit just so you can get these panels out. So fold this out and fold that out. Then come to the front and lift up on this hood. Just unpeg it. This whole panel will come down to the other side. And there's a hidden panel here that I didn't even know was there. It's for combine mode only, but I've transformed this guy many times and never knew that was there until just now. Or until, I figured out this combine mode. Go ahead and fold these front panels down like this. This will come down and sit right here. The head will just sit inside there. So it should sit like that. This will end up on the side, but we're going to open that up later. Come back to the top here. Oops, and let me just get this situated. I like to have it with the handle out. I think in the instructions it shows you to fold up the handle, but putting the handle out allows you to kind of stick it in right there, and it holds in a little bit better. Come to here, open this up, open that up. Come to the arms here. We're going to unpeg them from the side. Fold down on the elbow. Now, don't fold down on the upper joint. It's kind of hard not to, so you're going to hold here, push up until the back joint is straight, but the front joint is bent 90 degrees. All right, that's how you want it. All right, same with this one. Unpeg this, rotate it down, and then make sure you're on the front joint. Once you have this bent down, you're going to tab it in. There's a little slot right here, which is only for combine mode. So you obviously design this with that in mind. Then you can bring the doors back down and peg those in. And obviously make sure the rear mirrors are on the outside before you do that. See, if they're like this, you'll crush it. So don't accidentally crush your rear mirrors. So that's how it's looking. And another hidden little combiner piece right here, and you might need a spudger to get it out, but this little armature here allows you to peg this in. You don't need to push it too hard, just enough to kind of tab it in. And here's that combined part. All right, so open these up, and we're going to combine it with this. I recommend taking Ignis here and laying him down is the easiest way to get the combined parts or the legs on. So fold the foot down like this, and then have the rest of this just laying like this. All right, and we're going to take this guy, come to the back. You're going to open up this back part here. Hopefully you can see there's a little circular hole that's going to clip onto this peg right here. So you want to get that in there. So line that up. And it's easiest to see it from this angle, but get that in there. And then squeeze it around that peg. All right, so it looks something like this. Leave these panels open for now on the back. Make sure this is straight and flat. Then you're going to come to the knee. And at the knee, we're going to bend the ratchet joint down one click. Open up this panel. And you'll see there's two little slots here. And those are for another two little panels that were hidden until now. So we're going to fold those out, and I just want to get you a good angle, but right here, and you might need a spudger since actually we can open this up, and you want to lift up this panel right here, and there's one on each side, so lift up both sides, and then fold this down. And it might be easier to do that before you get to this point, but now it's ready for combination. So these two clips will slide in to these two slots. So line this up, straighten up the leg, this back part of the leg, and then we're going to slide this down in. Make sure it slides all the way in. And then once it's in, you can close up that cover here. And straighten this up, come to the back. And then these will just close around, actually tucks in underneath here, but these will just close around. And it actually pegs in to this. So if you do it right, this will actually peg in to the side. There we go. So it clips in on both sides. And there you go. There's one leg done. And he's not really stable without the other one, so I'm just going to put down that foot. All right, so for groove, we're going to do a few things. I'm going to take these guns off. Set those aside. These actually become part of the combining weapon, so I'm just going to set that aside for now. Close up those little pegs, and we'll start taking care of this. You can fold down the kickstand. Come to the back, you're going to pull apart this rear area, pull out the gun, set that aside. That also becomes part of the combiner gun. Come back to the front here. We're going to lift up on this. So we're going to separate this whole front section. So lift up these chairs, these seats pieces. These will slide out on sliders. Just slide them all the way out. Leave them up for now. Come to the front, and we'll take care of this. And you might need a spudger or something to get in here, but basically you want to open these up. We want to bring this down. Open this up, and that's going to tab in right here on the side. Oops. Don't take off the handlebars. So same on this side, open this up, and then bring this down and tab it in right here. This entire handlebar section is going to rotate, so this entire front wheel. And just watch out for these handlebars, but rotate this all the way around, making sure to clear these. So you should end up like something like this. For these, I like to put them like this so they're flat against them. You can kind of do however you want, but it looks best with just all black. But come to here, we're going to slide these seats out. They're going to tab back in on the outside now. So they were in here, now they're on the outside. And they just sit perfectly. And they're going to sit outside the wheel, so you're going to fold this up. That's going to come down. You can kind of straighten up this front fairing. And then these can just sit down here to kind of collapse away. So that's how we're looking. Come to the inside here, you're going to fold out these silver pieces here. And that's what's going to be going into the slider on the top. So you're going to have those right. This wheel doesn't tab into place or anything. It just kind of sits here. So I like to have it bumping up against this chair that kind of holds in place. It's not going anywhere, but it would be nice if it did actually clip in. But if you do it like this, it's pretty solid. All right, so down here, you'll see there's a peg, and inside, right here, right above the red light, there's a slot for that peg. So I recommend you do the same thing we did before. Take Ignis, lay him down, fold the foot flat, take this piece right here. That's going to fit into this piece we saw earlier. So get it so that this clip, these round pegs, are going into the part behind the red lights. And then this, two slots on the black piece right here, are going into these pegs right there. So there's basically four things you're trying to get in. It's very hard to see, and it's actually very hard to show you also what's happening, because I can barely see it myself. I'm going to open this up, get around. I'm also kind of hoping for the best, because I can't see. There we go, I did it. Things are often harder on camera than they are. Oh, and I hope that wasn't off camera, but we did get it. But things are often harder doing it behind a camera than it is in real life. So that's actually not that bad in real life. It's just going to show it to you. All right, so bring this up. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to bend the knee one click, open up that little panel on the top, and then you're going to slide these two silver pieces into here. Make sure the leg is straight. Slide that all the way in. Close the panel. Straighten up the knee. Make sure these handlebars didn't get disoriented. And there you go. There's the legs. All right, so next is Medicus. And Medicus is a little more challenging than the other two, but definitely Ventus is the hardest one. So go ahead and open this up. You can open up these two legs. I'm going to actually accordion these down. Lift up on this panel here. Rotate that out. Unpeg this panel from the side here. Allow you to fold this down. Rotate or open up this panel. Rotate the hand section forward like this. You can put this back. And then rotate this back up and tab it back in there. This will come down and peg back into the top. For the leg section here, what you're going to end up doing is clipping this into here to kind of solidify that section. And then we can fold out the thumb. All right, so that's one side done. So let's go ahead and do the other side. So same thing. Lift this up. Unpeg this from here. Open up this panel. Fold this down. Rotate your hand section forward. Bring this back up. Tab it back in. Fold that back up. Bring this section back up. Click that in place. And then on the back, make sure you get this attached right here to lock that in place. Then you can clip it together. So come to the top here, make sure everything lines up. And you do have to clip all of it together. So make sure the thighs this section, the hands, everything clips together as it should. We're going to rotate this, let's see, rotate this to the front and then rotate this way. So you should end up with the arm looking like this. So that's his elbow right there. Come to here, and we got to get that combiner port out. And it's pretty simple, actually. I thought it was hard at first, but open this up, just bend his ab crunch in, and then fold it back out, and it pulls that combiner port. Shout out to Pig for Life for that little trick. Fold that back down, fold that in, and now that combiner port is ready. And since I don't have the camera angle right for showing you how this goes in, I'll get the other arm transformed, then we'll do both arms at the same time to show you how to put them in. All right, before we get started on the combine mode, I just wanted to mention a mistake I made on the transformation for this into helicopter mode. You really just have to slide these sleds out for vehicle mode. I missed that in my transformation. And it actually helps a lot with the stability. He holds on better. So there you go for that. All right, so here's Ventus. He's probably the most complicated in terms of getting into combine mode. Go ahead and remove these guns. By the way, these are part of the combine mode, so you can set those aside. I'll show you what to do with those a little bit later. And let's see, we'll start with this top section here. So we're gonna lift this up. And we're actually going to take all of this rear section that we put away back out. So unpeg it from here, lift it up on those legs. Comes all the way back like this. We can open up these little panels here. Because that's actually the elbow joint. Separate the legs, and we actually had to bring all of this out too, so that's why I said this one is the most complicated, unfortunately. So we're going to fold this entire section out, and this has its own little configuration. So we're going to take the piece here and fold these down, lift up on this hip skirt, and this will come forward and sit just in front of this. And I was surprised that that's how it goes, but that is it. It just kind of sits as, it's supposed to end up looking like a flat panel essentially for his hips. I mean, sorry, for this elbow. All right, so now we'll take care of this. So open up the legs. We're going to come to the inside here. We're going to undo this little clip. That'll allow you to fold this down. If you didn't already fold up the tail fin, tab that in there. And then we're going to take all of this and we're going to undo what we did before. So we're going to unpeg this. Unclip this from here. These two pieces are going to fold down. So fold that down like this. Rotate this around the other way now. And we're going to rotate the hand in. If you don't rotate these, it won't fit. But they should fit perfectly right in there. Bring around this panel here. And make sure that gets all the way around. This is going to peg in right under here, but you want this part inside. So get that little peg clipped in right there, and you want this panel in like this. Leave this piece not folded up but down like this. And then on the outside, take this and tab that into the outside of the arm. We can open up the fingers, open up the thumb, It's pretty ingenious how they get all this stuff stowed away. All right, so that's one part done. And now I'll do the other one. For this part here, I like to just have this flat like that. So I get this pushed in so it kind of solidifies it. And then I just have it folded flat like this. All right, so now we can take the arms, or the two halves of the arms, and peg them together. So make sure you get all those pegs in. And this one didn't go, so I gotta fix that. There we go. And we can adjust this. So you can rotate the hand like this. And we're getting close. We're not quite there. I know it looks like we've done a lot, but there's a little bit more. So leave this out like this. We're going to come to here. We can undo this. So open up these panels, fold this up, take this entire section. We're going to unpeg the rotor from here. Probably to take all of this, fold that inside, fold that back down. For this, we're going to fold all this back the way we had it. So unclip the rotors first, then fold these down until they go all the way down, and then straighten these up so they end up like this. Right. And just leave that there for now because we got to do some work here on the front. And this part, I don't love how this works. Oh, by the way, we can fold these skids to the sides, so like this. You can leave the gun in there. You can also take it out and use it as part of the combined mode gun. But if you want, you can leave it in there. I'm going to take it out. I just want to mention you can leave it if you want. You're going to need a spudger for this part because we need to separate this cockpit from the rest. So lift this up and just remember there's this section in here that's coming with it. It's a little tricky, but you're going to get this up and over this red piece right here. This will fold up like this. And then this piece right here is going to peg into the top. I'm not a big fan of this connection point. I think that could have been done better, but that's basically what holds this up. I'm going to take this and fold that in. There's not really a set way to do it, but I like to just put it in as far as it goes. And like I mentioned, you can leave the gun here if you want. I think it's a little ugly, so I'm going to take it out. But you can do that way if you want. I'm just going to pop this out of here. All right, and make sure that's all clipped together. Come to the bottom here. This part is definitely the most confusing and not clear in the instructions. It's not clear in any videos I've seen. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I do watch some. And I haven't seen anyone get this part exactly right. So I'm talking about the combiner port here. So grab a spudger. I'm going to open this up. And we're going to pull this out. And most people are thinking you collapse this down like that. And then you slide this up. And that's the combiner port. And that's actually incorrect. It doesn't, it flops around like this. So you don't get a nice strong connection. So I'm going to show you how to get a good connection. First of all, you don't need the slider, so slide that back down. Open this up, just separate this a little bit. And you'll notice there's two little pegs here on the inside of the arm, of both arms. And what you need to do is push this up. This actually collapses in. I didn't even realize that, but you're going to push this all the way in. And now those two pegs on the arms go into slots on the combiner port. And it locks the whole thing in place. It's really an amazing engineering design. I was very impressed when I found that. And shout out to Paik, who helped me a little bit because I wasn't sure how to do it. And then just get this peg back in on the top. And now you've got that combiner port done correctly. Actually, by the way, we have to, let's see. We need to rotate. Oh, I have a little error here. That's okay. We can fix it. Unpeg this from here. Open this up. I just forgot to fold these hip skirts down. So these hip skirts are going to come back down this way. On both sides. And just straighten this up. And then now that you have those down, we're going to rotate the arm. So that's kind of like the front of the arm. You can bring this panel back down. Tab that in. And then tab this in to here. And you want these rotor blades straight. But that's how the arm should look. This combiner port should be shorter like this before you attach it. And before we go off and attach the arms, I do want to show you how to combine these guns. And this was interesting. I didn't even know that this was a thing until I kind of saw it together. So come to here, you're going to fold down, not this handle, but the bigger combiner handle. Take this piece, this will peg into here and here. And then you're going to make a white one and a black one. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but that's how I do it. So take this, peg that into here. And the other one on the other side. Take the gun from Incertus, and that will fit in right here. There's a peg. And there you go. Combine mode gun. Then you can take the other one, same thing, fold down the combine mode handle, clip this onto here. Take these, and this one's a little trickier. It's a little loose here. It's not the best connection point. It does go, but it's a little bit on the loose side, so you might need some floor polish or something. Another way to do it, make it a little bit more secure, is put like that and then fold this up. But I think it looks better with the guns facing forward. All right, and then take this, and this will fit right in the top, just like the other one. And then there's your white combine mode gun. So set those aside for now. All right, so there is the combine mode port, and we're going to put Medicus on this side. You want the port so that the opening tab is facing downwards. So you're just going to pull this down to open it up. Take the port or the peg that's going to insert into here, and then you close up this clip once you get it in there. I'll just show you from here. Make sure you push it all the way and then clip this in. You'll feel it kind of grab onto the arm. All right. And then I like to go up one click just to have it sit nicely. On this side, same thing, except you're going to bring it down. Back from here. Then we can bring in Ventus, and same kind of thing. You've got the peg, it's going to go into here, and then that locking clip is going to go into the top. So get that in there, and you'll notice this one's on the top instead of on the bottom, so you want to have that recorded, and then you just lift it up one clip. All right, and there's Maximus Pro all combined up, and I think he looks really good. You know, he came together really nicely. There's lots of nice little details, paint accents. These black pieces have nice little silver paint details on it. There's paint breakup just due to the figures themselves. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, if you prefer the look with this part up, you can do that. You can just kind of have it open like that if you want. I don't prefer it, but you can do that. But yeah, overall, it does look nice. I like the proportions. He's kind of a chunkier, beefier guy, but for Defensor, I think it works. Here's the side. You got the blades down the side. So this sometimes does come undone, but it does look good overall. And then here's the back. And even the back is pretty clean. You know, it's got not a lot of kibble hanging off. It really cleans up nicely here. You can convert this to the collar look. I'll try to show you that later, but overall the legs and the back are pretty clean. You do have the stock of the back of the legs here, which kind of is a skeleton. I think it looks okay. I like it. All right, let's go over the articulation on this guy. The head can rotate. It doesn't rotate all the way around, just do the transformation, the design. But you can get it to there and to there. You get a little bit of up, it goes up to there, and a little bit of down. The chin does collide. You can kind of get it past there a little bit, so you can get a little bit of down, but not a lot. I'm going to talk about these feet in a little bit. There is kind of a slight issue with the feet. But you can't open this up if you want to see what's inside. You have the Ignis or the hotspot head in there. And when you pull this off to replace it, you can actually swap out the head. There's actually a different head. You could have a super deformed mini head, whatever. We do have this alternate head, so it's more kind of squared off. I prefer this one. It's like more angled. But you do have this option. They both have metallic blue eyes, gray face, and then black for the head. This is the one that was on there. But you do have this option. Just to get on there, you just lift it up. There's a clip right here. You're just going to push it down, clip that on, and close that around the head. Now you got this one. So you have that option if you prefer. Both of them also come with an alternate face. So they are keyed. So if you open this up, pull this forward, you'll see there's a little, this one has a notch. So you're going to grab the face with the notch and get that attached. And now you got this yelling face. I think this definitely needed some black paint inside the mouth. In fact, I'll probably just paint it. It's a very good looking face, but it definitely needed that black to kind of show you the inside of the mouth. So I'm going to put this one on here. You just lift that up, slide this one on. I do like how easy it is to swap them. But that's a really good looking face. I like that a lot. I might just paint it. You also get a yelling face for the other one. I'm not going to put it on there, but I'll just show you. You have this option as well. All right, continuing on with the articulation. This shoulder's right around a ratchet joint. The ratchet does hold this time. On the prior combiner for the Bruticus, there was a little bit of trouble with some of the ratchets. Shoulder joint gets all the way up to there. So, and it holds. I can go back as well. Butterfly joint, I'm going to show you like this. Very cool. Not many combiners have butterfly joints built in. So that's kind of neat. Rotation here at the bicep. Rotation at the elbow. You have a double joint elbow. Gets you kind of up to there. It does start, colliding with the sculpted of the ambulance here. For the hands, they're both kind of the same, and again, you have a limited rotation just due to the design. This is two pieces attached together, right? So it goes up to there and back to there. So pretty much you get, I think, 90 degrees out of it, or 45 degrees. The fingers are individually articulated at 1, 2, 3 pins. You can splay them out. And then the thumb, and I'm having a little bit of trouble with these toes. I'll talk about that in a second here. The thumb is on a ball joint and a rotating hinge, so you can get this in and out, forward, and then there's a pin, 2 pins to bend the thumb. Thumb looks a little bit small in my opinion, but overall the hands are really nicely done. And then you get this joint here, so you can fold the hand flat. So if you wanted him like planting on the ground with this hand, you could do that. And later I'll show you a pose where, I'll have his hand like this. But nice design for the hands. I just would prefer slightly bigger hands. Same articulation on here. Now, a lot of people, like I said, are doing that shoulder joint wrong. And if you do it wrong, it gets loose. But this, you can see, holds. Oops. Get that last click. There we go. So it gets up to there, down to there. If you push it all the way down, it should sit straight. I like to put it like 1 click up. And this elbow is a little bit different because you've got all this stuff in here. It does bend, but this one is a little weirder. This one doesn't work as well because you got to kind of readjust all this back into position. Hands are the same, so I'm not going to go over that. Coming down to the waist, you have a waist rotation here. And that will rotate all the way around. It does sometimes get caught up on this if you don't have things right, but it should rotate all the way around. Ab crunch, whoops. Let's get this out of the way. Ab crunch on a ratchet gets you pretty far down for a combiner. Obviously the weight's not going to hold, so you know, in different poses you can utilize it. But I think that looks pretty good. For the legs, let's do this side here. We have a kick forward on a ratchet, and it holds. So they did fix the issue from the prior Bruticus figure. Their version of Onslaught, that joint wasn't tight enough. Now it is. Let's see, can this move out of the way? I think this will move out of the way. If I remember correctly, yeah. You can get that up and out of the way, and you can get it back to there. And a combiner, you don't really need that movement, but it's there. Rotation. Oh, out to the side, I forgot. Open this up. Out to the side on a ratchet. Again, it holds. So, nicely designed. Bring that back down. I mentioned this hip skirt is really just a flap that you folded up from the bottom. Coming down to the knees, you have a past 90 degrees due to the sculpt and the design. They put a cutout here. So you can get this past 90, which is nice. Is a ratchet. The ratchet can hold, you know, nice strength there. And then the feet are something that I think should have been improved a little bit. Because they're designed this way, you know, it's designed to fold up and fit inside of Hotspot. There's gaps. You know, it's not a solid foot. So it often will like collapse on you. And this toe, both toes are on a screw. And when I got this out of the box, this was kind of loose. Actually, it's loosening up again. So you need to tighten those screws. Otherwise, what happens is he folds forward on those toes. I think that could have been a better design. Like have it clip in, have the toe clip into the back of the foot or the front of the foot. That way, it wouldn't bend on you, right? It would stay down. So I do think that could have been improved, but there is articulation there. You have the ankle tilt, you have the toe bend up. All right, now we can use those combined mode weapons that I showed you earlier, how to put them together. They just clip right into the hand. It's actually behind the fingers. There's a little slot, and you can close the fingers around the gun. And the thumb as well. I did mention these aren't the tightest fit, but they do work. This one is a better fit. It stays together better. But yeah, there you go. You've got two guns. I like the look of it. All right, before we forget, here's the popped collar look. You just fold up that top part, so instead of sitting on the back, it's up there. I don't prefer that look, but it is an option you have if you want it. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And he does tower over him, but maybe a little short for Masterpiece. I think some people are probably okay with it. Other people might feel to be a tad bit taller. And for another size comparison, there it is next to the Zeta Toys version of Bruticus. And we already knew that, you know, he's a smaller combiner. But I just wanted to show it. I know people are going to ask me, how does it fit in with other combiners? It doesn't really fit with the Zeta or the Fans Toys or any of the really, you know, the modern Toy World, you know, combiners. It is a smaller scale, and that is because of the all-in-one gimmick, right? Everything is part of Hotspot. So they don't have, you know, added pants, where this guy from the knee all the way up to the chest is a separate, you know, parts forming piece. And that's how they're able to achieve, you know, this much larger size, even though their robot modes are roughly the same. But there you go for comparison. So final recommendations on the Ocular Maximus Pro Combiner. I think this is a pretty cool figure. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. Obviously very dynamic just due to the articulation overall. Not a surprise there. Ocular Max usually does really nice articulation. Very cool engineering and design. I like the way things just tab into place and click together, and it's fun. It's not frustrating. I think the only figure that maybe has a little bit of frustrating parts is the Ventus, the version of Blades. But overall, as a set, I think it's a fun set to mess with. Some of the negatives, I think the feet could have stood to be designed a little bit better, especially the toe. That needed a locking point so that when you get into poses like this, it doesn't fail on you. Now he's holding, but I would not leave it on the shelf. You can see he's leaning over. I would not leave it like this because, I can't rely on those toes to hold the weight. And I did ask, they're not planning to do an upgrade set for this, or at least that's what I heard. So it would have been nice to get a slightly bigger toe and foot and something a little bit more stable so that this toe doesn't bend on you when you don't want it to. But that's really my only main complaint is that. Other than that, I think it's a really well designed, fun figure. My issue, and this will be, depends on, how you're displaying it. All of the other combiners in my collection are way bigger than this, right? Most of them are 21 inches, 20 to 21 inches, 19 inches. This is much shorter. And I showed you next to the Zeta toys. So it just really doesn't go well with the rest of the combiners. Now, if you're displaying all of the Ocular Max combiners together, I think that's a good way to display this. If you have their Bruticus and you're planning to get their Devastator, I think you'll really be happy with the way they look together. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Eddie from Toy Dojo for sending over this Ventus figure. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.